So without further ado, let's welcome Cris to the mic.
Bookstores are dominating here. Anyway, I have notes because this is a story that the reason I'm telling it here today is because I did a fellowship with Ex Fabula in 2016, and you can tell that I'm already forgetting what I was going to say. So anyway, I'm going to start with a story that I told that time, more or less. And that time I wasn't allowed to have notes, and that was kind of a disaster, so now I have notes. So I grew up in Brazil, where the majority of the population is mixed race. Even people who consider themselves white or self-identify as white are actually brown or black. Our culture is heavily influenced by African culture and also indigenous culture. So growing up there, I was considered white when I grew up. My family was middle class. Brazil has an abysmal social disparity situation. So I was, considered also privileged, and I always was very aware of that privilege. I was raised by my mom, who made a point of taking me to diverse spaces, and also my dad, who was in the workers' party and a union organizer. And a lot of the stories that I heard when I went to his house are this helped shape my political views. So in many words, we're still listening. Okay. Look at that. It's good because I botched that anyway. Okay. I'm going to start. No, I'm not. Okay. So I was raised by allies. But when I arrived in the US, I knew that I was not going to be considered white anymore. I was now Latina, and I was brown, and I had an accent to boot. I came here by myself at 30. I left my entire family in Brazil. So I didn't have a Latina community here in Milwaukee. I was surrounded mostly by white people mostly because of my interests, which were like roller derby, punk rock, in the early 2000s, everything was really white. So that also meant that I was like Brazilian 24/7. I was the Brazilian friend. That was a little exhausting, but it was fun for the most part. That was until I got my green card, and I started looking for a job, and I applied for hundreds of positions. In spite of having 2 degrees from UWM and plenty of connections in the city, I never heard back from anybody. And I realized that being an immigrant and not being white was affecting my ability to make money and survive. I went to a career coach who literally told me that I should get rid of my accent. As if that was a choice. Like, as if I could, right? And it wasn't just jobs. Like, when I had issues receiving a payment in the bank once, the person said to me, "Oh, you just really like to struggle. You gotta get rid of that cloud over your head." Like their incompetence was somehow my fault. So I was feeling for the very first time the effects of biases and how disempowering those biases were. So that was the story that I told at Ex Fabula, the very sexy story of I used to be white story, which is really weird, It was really awkward, and I never thought I would be on the stage again if it wasn't for what happened next. We were having a group discussion, and this Ex Fabula meetings kind of became almost like group therapy. And one day, this black artist who I'm not gonna name because I didn't get her authorization, but she took me aside and she said, "Stop applying for jobs now. You need to go to business for yourself." And I was like, "No, but I want a fixed income." She said, "Things will not work for you in Milwaukee until you go for business for yourself." And I was like, that was kind of like a little bit of tough love, and I was like, okay. So this 2016, it took me a couple of years for that to sink in. And in 2019, I started Lion's Tooth with my best friend, Shelly. We've been 5 years in business and just celebrated 3 years of our brick and mortar bookstore. We do things our own way. We have beer and wine and hold events that are loud and fun, and they're almost Brazilian events. Almost. We sell books that reflect our political beliefs and actively engage with the community. We have become a haven and a safe space, or a brave space, for queer youth. Yet no one is ever doubting my skills and complaining about my accent either, so. I just want to say real quick that no one should have to start a business in order to pay their bills. Everybody should be able to have the choice of having a stable employment or going to business for themselves. And allies are great, but also it is the job of the government to make sure to untip the scale, and work towards equal opportunity for all and repair historical inequalities. This is what I believed in Brazil as an ally, and what I still believe here as an American citizen now. Just in case the La Migra is around, there's a American citizen, husband over there. Okay. But I'm here to tell the personal story and give credit where credit is due. To thank the heavens for the ally that I met in my Ex Fabula fellowship. I've thought about what she told me many times throughout the years, and I am so grateful to have this opportunity to tell this story, and I'm so grateful that she saw potential in me and not like a little cloud over my head. Thank you so much. Come to Lions too.